Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Tommy Cuozzi, who will fight on Contender Series August 19th. Hello, Tommy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And first of all, congrats on getting the shot on the Contender Series because I think that you definitely deserve it because of your record, because of your style, because of the finishes that you got. But if you can tell me, when did you find out that you will be fighting in the Contender Series?
Thank you for the congratulations. And I found out not long after my last fight. My wife and I had gone to Japan for our honeymoon, and we were the time change. I had not trouble falling asleep at night, but I'd stay up a little bit later, and I was scrolling on my phone, and I got the message pretty soon after. I knew that I was being looked at and considered, but about halfway through our trip, I got the message at it was midnight there, so whatever time that was here, and they were like, "Yeah, we got you an opponent. You're good to go."
So it's like it was a great gift.
Yeah.
And you will be fighting against another undefeated fighter, Ramiro Jimenez. And if you can tell me, did you have a chance to watch any of his fights or like study his style?
I did. I like to study my opponent's styles. Whoever the opponent is, I like to, go into the fight having a little bit of background knowledge of what they're going to fight like, how they're going to compete, so I can prepare accordingly. When I do prepare, though, I, will adjust my game plan accordingly. But at the same time, I like to prepare for anybody and anything because you never know what's going to happen. There's been a gap in his competition time, I guess, if that's the best way to word it. So you never know, it could be an entirely new fighter coming in there to fight me. So it's hard to judge that. So I like to prepare for any scenario wherever wherever it decides to go.
But in the end, it probably will be a good fight because, of course, you've got only finishes in your record, and he's got, I believe, 8 out of his 10 wins. So probably he also will be looking for the finish. So from like fans' perspective, it would be like barn burner.
Absolutely. I'm hoping we can bring some fireworks and, bring Dana White to a seat.
And because of your because you finish your opponents really quickly, there is maybe not question mark, but it's always a little bit question about the cardio of the fighter. And you probably are the only one of the only people who know how good your cardio really is. So if you can tell me when you train for 15 minutes, how do you feel in this like later parts of the fight?
So we as a gym, Kamikaze MMA and fitness, and really everywhere I go, we make it a point to not exclude cardio. We're training the techniques, we're making sure we're drilling what we need to drill, but at the same time, I'm training as if this fight is 10 5-minute rounds, so that way when the third and final round does happen, if it does happen, we still feel fresh. We're coming in because fighting, I feel like when I fight, my cardio is split in half, and I think a lot of fighters feel like that. Just, nerves, your adrenaline dump, so you want to be ready for that, and you want to still feel fresh when you're starting minute number 11 through minute 15. And so, we're not ignoring the cardio. We're getting it in. We're running. We're training multiple hours a day, just constant work in the heat, just really trying to get it anywhere we can. But I feel like my cardio is pretty good. It's better, I think, now than it's ever been.
But I guess that even if the fighter is like finishing the fight, it's obvious that he trained all of the aspects of the game. So it's more of the the from the fans just to see it because I believe that you train it because it's cardio is like the like any skill in this game is like super important.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Every fight that I have, I treat them like they're a UFC champion, and I'm gonna train like you're gonna beat me up for 25 minutes, and minute number 24 to 25, I've got to explode. I've got to have that in the tank. So whoever you are, we're not slacking on cardio. We're good.
And like about 4 weeks from this fight, do you feel some maybe nerves or pressure with the knowledge that you are, to be honest, just one fight away from being a UFC fighter? Do you feel something, or do you prepare that you will feel it in like maybe next 2 or 3 weeks?
So anytime that I know a fight's coming up, I'm nervous. That, regardless, like I said, I treat every opponent the same, whether you're, 0 and 20 or 20 and 0, it doesn't matter. We're fighting and anything can happen in a fight. So as soon as I know that I'm fighting, I'm nervous. And it's, until the fight's over, it's the only thing on my mind. It's all that I'm thinking of. I wake up and I'm like, all right, we're getting ready for a fight. I go to sleep and I'm like, tomorrow we're getting ready for a fight. So nerves are always there. And I'd say I'm just as nervous for this fight. I can't say if there's going to be more nerves or not yet. Part of me is I know the stakes. I know what's on the line. I know who's going to be watching. But on the other side of that, I know who's going to be watching, and apart from the big guy that's going to be watching, we're it's a small crowd. So it's not like I'm going out to perform in front of 3, 4, 500 people. There's going to be like 40 people in a room, and the one I'm most nervous about is right there beside the cage, and I just have to full send it for 15 minutes. So, nerves are always there, but there's things to be more nervous about and things to be less nervous about. You just got to take them as they come.
And if you can tell me more about your beginnings in the sport, because I catch like few interesting facts that you made your like amateur debut when you were super young in 2014. So if you can tell me how overall your journey with combat sports started.
So it started pretty normally. It was right before I turned 9. I was an 8-year-old boy, and I learned that there was a martial arts gym near me, and we wanted to do it. So we hopped in, started doing that, and then by the time I turned 14, I had I'd done a couple like jujitsu competitions, but in terms of like competition wise, I wasn't very well versed. But my coach came up to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to fight?" And I was like, "Yeah, are my parents cool with it?" And they were like, "Absolutely." So, at 14, we had our first, it was almost full rules MMA fight, no headgear, MMA gloves only. The only thing we couldn't do was elbow or knee to the head, and that was it.
So it's kind of crazy because you are still a quite young fighter, but you have like 11 years of experience, like actually fighting.
Yes. And that's always a weird thought. Everyone asks me like, "Oh, how long have you done it?" And I think about it and I'm like, "Man, it's been a minute."
And if you can tell me about your gym that right now you are training in, because it's your like a family gym.
Yes. So I train at a couple of gyms, but the one that I'm at 95% of the time is, like you said, it's my family's gym. It's KAMICUOZZI MMA and Fitness in Eden, North Carolina. We're we took it over a few years ago, and it's been great ever since. We've had so many people come in and get to the point where they're helping their coaches. We have such a wide range of coaches at the gym now. It's been crazy. We're blessed. We're in a good spot where we've got such a good community around it. I train at Gracie Burlington, Lux Boxing Gym, the Matrix in Greensboro, Brunson's MMA and Fitness, Capital MMA Lorton. They're just everywhere. But my main gym is KAMICUOZZI MMA and Fitness, and it's just with all the gyms that I train at, I just feel like we've built such a community with them, and it's good.
And in Kamikwazi, do you have prospects maybe like on the like amateur level, maybe early pro, that you know that they have like really big potential and they can be like you, like go through like regional scene and then try to get to the UFC?
I think they could do better than me, honestly. We've got a couple of guys actually in September. We've got two that are going pro. We've got one fighting on the amateur card. We've got a couple semi-amis, but I'll go ahead and shout them out. We've got on the semi-ami, whether it's kickboxing or MMA, we've got Trent, we've got Jesus, and we've got Matt. They're up and coming. They're getting a little experience in before they go into the full cage fighting. And then on the amateur card, we've got Harley. You know, he's the homie. He's coming in. He has a Taekwondo background. Came in, kicked me in the face, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna respect his game. And we've got two on the pro card. Both of them making their pro debuts is Jacob and Drew Pius. They're great up and comers. They're both 10 amateur fights deep, both with winning records. So I'm excited to see what they do. And not on this card, but who's currently 4-0 as an amateur is Corbin. The battle bro, if he sees this, that's a trademark term, not really, but we're gonna make it. But he's 4-0. He just won the UBG title at 145. So it's a huge up and coming group. We went from having 1 to 2 fighters to now we're at like such a big group of fighters. And it's weird because we've always been and we're still like this. We're like, you don't have to be a fighter to come to the gym. You don't have to be a fighter to come work out with us to get in shape, to learn how to defend yourself. But just advertising that, it's weird that now we have so many fighters, but it's such a good thing.
So maybe in a few years they will be like in the same position like you are right now, like undefeated fighters, one fight away from getting to the UFC.
I could absolutely see it. I have high hopes for all these guys, and their potential is just it's unmatched.
And when I search or when I was searching information about you, I found that of course you got a great start in your amateur career, but then you've got some losses, and it was like 4 fights losing streak. And if you can tell me what kind of mindset did you have at that point? Because like from like look, you can look at from like two perspective. One thing is like the losing is not a good thing, especially a few in the row. But in the end, it's
Yeah.
amateur scenes, so it's like a little bit proving ground. You are able to make this kind of mistakes just to be a better fighter. So if you can tell me what was in your head at that point.
So, amateur, I feel like that's like you said, it's like your proving ground, it's your testing ground. And I think you should take the absolute hardest fights you can take, because it's experience. It's what do I need to work on? And, losing's never fun. I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's okay to lose because it is. It is okay to lose. It absolutely is. But not a single person wants to hear that when they lose. Anytime that I lost, I have such a big support system. Like I will never say the word fans because they're not fans. They're in my corner 100%. They're my friends, they're my family. And every time I lost, they'd be like, "You know what? You did great." And looking back on it, absolutely. I feel like I did. But at the same time, that's not what I want to hear right now, right? Like I'm going into the shower to sit in the hotel room and think about everything that I did wrong. I'm not thinking about what I did right. However, on the flip side of that, everyone heard anyone who competes has heard it's not a loss, it's a lesson. I like to add a little bit to that. It's not a loss, but it's a lesson if you make it one, right? So if I sit there and I lose and I don't fix anything about it and I just kind of keep pushing forward, we're not going to learn anything. We didn't make it a lesson. That's a loss. But if I lose and then I go back and go, why did I lose? Let me fix that. That's where the lesson comes in. And that's, I think, what especially your amateur career is all about. And I would go as far as to say your martial arts career, whether you're doing it for fitness, self-defense, or you're doing it for a competition level, whatever you can gain from the sport, gain it. Don't go, I lost or I didn't meet my fitness goals, right? Why did we lose? Why didn't we meet our goals? And then we get better. And I think those 4 losses made me a better fighter today than I would have been if I won.
And actually, your pro record is definitely proof of it because since that point you are in the like peak of your career, you are unstoppable. So definitely you learn anything you need after these losses.
Right.
And in your training camp, do you feel sometimes like burnout? So you are maybe sometimes beaten up, or you are just tired of everything related to the sport?
I wouldn't say tired of everything related to the sport. I wake up every day and I'm like, we're gonna train. I'm at the gym every day. I'm teaching, I'm training. I not every day, but 6 days out of the week, I'm doing something training related. And it's great. I love being in there. But every now and then, because I work in the heat, every now and then we get to like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, we could go home. We we could just pack it up. But every time that I'm there, no matter how tired I am, I'm thankful to be there. I'm thankful to be surrounded by such a good group of people. And they hype me up whether I'm tired, whether I'm feeling it or not. They're gonna motivate me. They're gonna push me. They're gonna say the things they need to say in order to make me keep going. And if I could tell you that I'm super tired and I want to go home, and that's the case, but that's not what makes a pro fighter, right? That's not what gives you a win. Right? I could pack it up, go home, and do whatever, but I'm not gonna get a win if I'm sitting on the couch watching anime. That's for after training.
Yes, and probably in the end you have this kind of thoughts because it's normal that when you are doing something on like super high level, you are like going for your limits in the sport. It's sometimes you can be a little bit tired, so probably it's hard to be like this kind of robot that you don't have like feelings or this kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, the fatigue's always going to hit you. If you're going through fight camp and you feel 100% energized and you're feeling amazing every day, I don't think you're doing it right. And that's just my opinion, but you're not working yourself hard enough.
And do you have like a favorite, maybe one, maybe few fighters that you really enjoy watching?
Man, so yes, I would shout out to everyone on my team that's fighting. They're my all-time favorites. Anyone who's fighting under Kamikaze MMA and fitness, you're awesome. You're my favorite. But if we're talking UFC level, I really, really like Alex Volk. There's a few of them, but I think he's my number one. Let's start with the obvious. He's a great fighter, and featherweight title holder. That's my goal. All right. But I think if I ever got there and he was still the title holder, I'd fangirl the whole time. But he just seems like a good dude, right? Like fighting doesn't always have to be about like I'm this scary buff dude who could whoop anybody on the streets. Like he's got his cooking channel. He just hangs out and does things that are super fun. And he just seems like a fun guy to hang out with. Ilia Topuria, amazing fighter. Charles Oliveira, while we're talking about Ilia Topuria, amazing fighter. There's such a group, where Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway fighting this weekend. I feel like I grew up and am currently, even just that transition period in a great generation of fighters that it's so hard to narrow like a favorite few. Like you see so many big names that and you're like, I love that guy. I want to watch him fight. And it's hard to be like, man, yeah, it's these two are my favorite.
Yes, and actually, I think that there are a lot of like fighters, great fighters with also a great personality. That they are not, oh, I'm just beat you up or something like this, but they are like super cool. They have personalities. So in the end, I think that it's definitely helps also the defense to be defense of this fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also about Alex, who do you think he should fight right now to defend his title?
Ah, that's so tough, especially after his last one. That was like it's hard to beat that. There's I really couldn't say. I have no clue because I wanted the rematch with Taporia. I wanted, you know, I love Taporia, but he's knocking out all everybody's favorites. It's hard to hate him, but he's knocking out everyone. So I wanted to see that rematch, but at the same time, Taporia's moving up, which I think is a smart move anyways. But yeah, it's hard to say. I think Volk is ready for really anyone in that division, and if he doesn't win, it's at least going to be a great fight.
And he actually is also interested in like unusual challenges, like he was saying about Movsar Evloev, and not many people mention Evloev. So I think that Volkanovski got this kind of mindset that he want to fight against the best, even if they don't have like really big names.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. He's looking for that big challenge, which is why I like him so much because he's at the highest level. Like it doesn't get higher than where he's at right now. So now it's all about like, all right, let me challenge myself. All right, let me push myself. And if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, then I'm gonna know after the fight. Right? Like if they beat me, cool. They deserve this spot. I gotta work harder. And now I've got to take my spot back. And I think that's kind of what his mindset is. He's just, I want that challenge. I want to know if my skill's up to par with my position.
Yes, yes, he's definitely like the champion of the sport. Uh,
Yeah, and not just in belt, but in name too.
Yes, yes, that's right. And let's say that we are after a tough training session. Do you have maybe some hobbies that can get your like head out of the MMA that you can relax doing these things?
So a lot, but also not a lot. I watch some anime, play some video games. Um, I'm currently I like to just fill my time with something. If I'm sitting there on the couch, I'm thinking about the fight. I'm thinking about, this is gonna happen soon. This is a big moment. So, do some work around the house. My wife and I just got some chicks, some guinea hens, and some chickens, so we're taking care of them. We've got three dogs. My dad and I have lawn wars going on, so we mow our lawns and we talk trash about the other one's lawns. And that's been going on since we bought the house. And, I've started taking care of the lawn. So we have made that a public thing on Facebook and just make fun of each other there. So that's always fun. But I like the nerdy stuff too. Like I said, anime, video games. I like to, do sort of like cosplay type stuff. It's I try to fill my time with everything that I possibly can.
And it definitely good to have something like this because in the end MMA it's like it's probably like big fun for you to do it, but in the end it can be like super tiring and you have to do something else sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one last question: do you have maybe like a bucket list, maybe a list of goals that things that you would like to accomplish, and if you can share something like this, like goal or a dream?
We'll start with a small one. I want on August 19th, obviously to win. But I want to perform so well that Dana White wears a fanny pack with me and we can take a picture. I'm a big avid fanny pack supporter. I'm trying to make them. I think they're becoming cool again. I just think they're cool, so maybe I'm biased. But I want Dana White to wear a fanny pack with me. It's one of my highest goals in the sport. And just within the sport, I want to get as high as I can go, right? Like if I can get to that championship level, that main event level, amazing, right? That's where I want to be. But, we're just gonna take it as it comes, and not even on a personal level, but we got to bring the gym up too. We got to bring my supporters up too. We can't. This isn't just about me, right? It's everyone who's supporting me, everyone who's behind me. They're the ones that are gonna lift me up, right? I couldn't do this on my own, so what I mean is we're gonna make it to the top. And that's it.
So definitely good luck with that and in your next fight. And thank you for the time and for conversation. And I think that it will be, of course, a good one. But with your style, there is like a big chance for the finish. So I hope that you will win it, and it will be just probably a matter of the win, because I think with your style you will get the contract when you win the fight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.